Famous people who passed away in 1742. This is the fourth part. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Guido Grandi. He was born in October 1671 and he died in July 1742. His age was 70 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. An Italian mathematician and cleric, Grandi made significant contributions to calculus and is remembered for his paradoxical infinite series. In 1693, he was sent to the monastery of Saint Gregory the Great, the Camaldolese house in Rome, to complete his studies in philosophy and theology in preparation for holy orders. A year later, Grandi was assigned as professor of both fields at the Camaldolese monastery of Saint Mary of the Angels in Florence. It appears that it was during this period of his life that he took an interest in mathematics, and in mathematics, Grandi is known for his work Flores Geometrici in 1728, studying the rose curve, a curve which has the shape of a petal flower, and for Grandi's series, he named the rose curve Rhodonia. Evaristo Abaco. He was born in July 1675 and he died in July 1742. His age was 66 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Abaco was an Italian Baroque composer whose works enriched the Venetian school of music with the focus on concertos and sonatas. He became a violinist with Tommaso Antonio Vitali in Modena, and in 1704 joined the court of Maximilian II Emanuel, Elector of Bavaria in Munich, as Kammermusiker. After only a few months, he fled with the court to Brussels, following Maximilian's defeat at the Battle of Blenheim. When he went into exile with the court, he spent time in France and absorbed some of the influences there. On Maximilian's restoration and return to Munich in 1715, the Abaco was appointed concertmeister. He continued to compose chamber music at the French and Dutch courts until 1740, when he retired. Maria van Lomen. She was born in January 1688 and she died in August 1742. Her age was 53 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. A distinguished Dutch silversmith, Van Lomen's intricate designs became sought-after pieces of luxury in 18th century Europe. In 1712, she became a member of the Silversmith Guild, and she and her mother took over the gold and silversmith business of her father. They became so successful that their competitors stated a complaint to the authorities that there was a risk that the rest of the silversmiths in Utrecht were in danger of being ruined. In 1730, she was inducted into the Guild of the Goldsmiths. Her great success as a businesswoman, unusual for her gender during her era, are also unusually well documented, and she is often referred as an example for the many more anonymous professional women in the history of the Netherlands. Carlos Seixas. He was born in June 1704 and he died in August 1742. His age was 38 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was rheumatic fever. He was a leading Baroque composer from Portugal, whose innovative harpsichord pieces remain celebrated for their melodic elegance. An accomplished virtuoso of both the organ and the harpsichord, He succeeded his father as an organist for Coimbra Cathedral at the age of 14. In 1720, he departed for the capital Lisbon, where he was to serve as the organist for the Royal Chapel, one of the highest offices for a musician in Portugal, a position which earned him a knighthood. Most of his music rests in an ambiguous transitional period from the learned style to the 17th century of the glam style of the 18th century. His keyboard works were written for a variety of instruments, including organ, harpsichord, and the clavichord. Stylistically speaking, however, his sonatas showcase a range of musical styles. Vincenzo Ludovico Goti. He was born in September 1664 and he died in September 1742. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a cardinal and theologian. Goti was a prominent defender of Catholic orthodoxy and an intellectual leader of his time. He entered the Dominican order at the age of 16. After studies in Salamanca in Spain, he was assigned to teach theology and philosophy at various schools of the Dominican order. In 1688, Goti was professor of philosophy at the Dominican College of St. Thomas, the future Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas Angelicum. He also taught in Mantua and Bologna. In 1708, he was elected prior of the Dominican monastery in Bologna. In 1728, Pope Benedict XIII made him cardinal priest and appointed him Patriarch of the Jerusalem. Frederick Louie Nordon. He was born in October 1708 and he died in September 1742. His age was 33 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was tuberculosis. He was a Danish explorer and is remembered for his detailed accounts and illustrations of Egypt and Nubia, offering valuable historical insights. He was a Danish naval captain, cartographer, and archaeological explorer, also known as Frederick, Ludwig, and Louis, names used on the publications of his famous voyage of Egypt. At the request of King Christian VI of Denmark, he was to enter into trade agreement with Ethiopia on behalf of Denmark. Nordon made abundant notes, observations, and drawings of everything around him, including people, pharaonic monuments, architecture, installations, and maps. On 8 January 1741, he became a Fellow of the Royal Society of London. JeanBaptiste Meesio. He was born in June 1663 and he died in September 1742. His age was 79 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. A French bishop and renowned orator, he gained fame for his powerful sermons, including one at Louis XIV's funeral that emphasized human humility. He soon gained a wide reputation as a preacher and was selected to be Advent preacher at the court of Versailles. In 1699, he was made Bishop of Clermont in 1717, and 2 years later was elected a member of the Academy of France. The last years of his life were spent in faithful discharge of his episcopal duties. His death took place at Clermont on September 18, 1742. He enjoyed in the 18th century a reputation equal to that of Jacques Benini-Bossuet and of Louis Bourdaloue, and was much praised for his Eloquence by Voltaire, D'Alembert, and Kindred Spirits among the encyclopedists. Frederick Hoffman, he was born in February 1660 and he died in November 1742. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. A German physician and pharmacologist, Hoffman is known for his discoveries in medicine, including the creation of Hoffman's drops. In 1693, shortly after the establishment of the University of Halle, he was appointed primary professor of medicine and natural philosophy. During his career there, he held the position of rector 3 times, with the exception of 4 years, which he passed at Berlin. In the capacity of royal physician, Hoffman spent the rest of his life at Halle in instruction, practice, and study, interrupted now and again by visits to different courts of Germany, where his service procured him honors and rewards. His fame became European. He was enrolled a member of many learned societies in different foreign countries, including being elected Fellow of the Royal Society in the 1720, while in his own he became Privy Councillor. Melchior de Polignac, he was born in October 1661 and he died in November 1742. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was hydropsy. A cardinal and diplomat, he played a crucial role in European politics, particularly in treaty negotiations during the War of Spanish Succession. In 1712, he was created a cardinal deacon by Pope Clement XI in May 1712, but the nomination was made in pectore that his appointment was not made public at the time. It was only announced on 30th January 1713. In 1704, Abbé de Polignac was elected to the Academy of France, to the seat once held by Bossuet. His inauguration speech survives. In 1715, he became a member of the Royal Academy of Sciences and was its president several times. At an early age, he achieved recognition as a diplomat. In 1693, he was sent as an ambassador to Poland, where he worked with Cardinal Augustyn Michael Stefan Miragiowski, the Primate of Poland. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.